The man charged with murdering British backpacker Grace Millane has appeared in court for the first time. Ms Millane's body was discovered on Sunday afternoon in an area of bush just 10 metres off the road in Auckland's Waitakere Ranges. Anneke Smith was in the Auckland District Court for the murder accused's appearance today.
He entered the dock in a blue paper boiler suit and appeared relatively calm in the dock. He did glance at the public gallery a few times but appeared to have no known supporters sitting in there. And
did he say anything during the appearance?
He didn't say anything. He didn't speak to his lawyer either. At one point he did say something to a security guard who left and went out the back to the cells, but they returned and nothing came of that.
So was Grace Millane's family there, and how full was the public gallery?
The public gallery was very full. There would have been over a dozen journalists from both local and international media, obviously a case of high public interest, and the public gallery was full to the back of the courtroom with people. What
about her family? Do we know if they were there?
They couldn't be seen in the public gallery, but it's possible that they were watching the proceedings via an AVL link from somewhere else. The Judge Evangelos Thomas, actually acknowledged their presence. He said he didn't quite know what to say at that point in time, and he hoped that justice for Grace would be fair, swift and bring them peace, but also reminded them that there was a procedure to follow.
You've sat through a lot of court cases. Is that unusual in your experience?
It is unusual to get the judge expressing such a heartfelt, almost acknowledgement of their grief at the start of a case. And he also he said this before the defendant was actually placed in the dock, so before the hearing started.
What actually happened in this appearance? Because it went on for about an hour, so what was actually going on?
There were lengthy discussions about a couple of matters, procedural matters that arose. His defence lawyer Ian Brookie opposed a number of media applications, and that was on the grounds of fair trial rights. That sort of intertwined with his opposition to also naming the defendant.
So this was applications for us to take pictures of the accused?
To take photos and to film the defendant. Those applications were opposed, and there was also a separate application for interim name suppression, so those two things can intertwine at times. He argued for against those things on the basis of fair trial rights, protecting his client's right to a fair trial, that potential jurors may not be prejudiced towards him, and he made particular mention of the blue boiler suit that he appeared in, saying that people, it would be the New Zealand public's first glimpse at this woman's accused murderer, and that they may draw assumptions just from his appearance, which was out of his control. It's commonplace for them to be wearing those suits.
So what did Judge Thomas decide? In the media's favour, or?
In the media's favour on both counts. He granted the media applications, and after lengthy discussions he declined to grant interim name suppression. He said the principles of open justice outweighed the Defence Counsel's submissions, but the defence lawyer, Mr Brookie, immediately indicated he would be appealing that decision, which means that there's an automatic 20 working day suppression prohibiting media from identifying him until that appeal's heard.
So that's interesting, because you also mentioned that there were international press in court today. How have they been reporting this appearance?
So they were a little different. There were a couple of outlets that identified the accused online. One actually published a photograph of him, but since then, this afternoon, the articles have actually been taken down.
Interesting. This is a first appearance, as you mentioned, and running parallel to the legal process. Obviously, the police are continuing on with their investigation. What do we know about what they're doing?
So as late as this morning, they were still out there at the scene, Scenic Drive in the Waitakere Ranges, and the investigation, they've said, is going to take a very long time. So Grace's body was removed last night and a post-mortem examination's been completed today. The investigation is ongoing, and so we'll be keeping you updated as soon as we hear.
Yeah, because they were still asking for appearances of the of sightings of the car, weren't
A
they?
red Toyota Corolla 2016. It was a rental car, and they're appealing for sightings, I believe, Monday morning in West Auckland, and that was the car that actually ended up at Taupō.
And that's Anneke Smith, our court reporter, who was at the Auckland District Court today for the first appearance of the man accused of killing Grace Millane.